Hey everyone, Mount Rudmore here, and I am back talking BB24, this time with my mic actually on. Yeah, I'm proud of that one. Uh, so, different lighting situation, because we've been moving a lot of stuff around in my house lately. So, yeah, slightly different setup from usual. But, yeah, my last Big Brother stream was, uh, was on Wednesday. There's my favorite streamer, and I can hear you this time too, LOL. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you for letting me know also. Otherwise, I would have been talking a while and would have had to start over and say everything over again. But yes, my last stream was Wednesday afternoon before the Wednesday episode even aired. The episode with the veto competition, but this time not the veto meeting because Michael and Brittany decided to talk about some stuff. The only note I have from before the episode aired was Monty telling Taylor something that he had been talking about for a couple days. Tells her that he finds Michael and Brittany's timing of releasing the information suspicious. And apparently they said that they wouldn't have brought it up if he had left in Direfest, which I don't think they should have admitted. I feel like they did deserve to know. Just there's a lot of talk about what was the right way for Michael and Brittany to handle this information. No one really agrees on what the right way was, but this this may not have been it. So at this point, Monty is just kind of encouraging her, like, if you are able to take that shot, take that shot. And I'm just thinking, like, it's probably not in her best interest. Yes, like at least get to final five with them. You know, definitely not before Terrance leaves, and probably I'd wait till at least one of Monty and Turner is gone as well. So we get to the Wednesday episode, and yes, Michael won the veto, derailed the backdoor plan. We all knew that already. What we didn't know was what was said in this house meeting. And again, they didn't show it on Wednesday. They did show Michael and Brittany telling Taylor and Monty about it, and we actually got to see how they reacted to it. And they Taylor just seemed flabbergasted. Monty looked legitimately hurt. It was like he really did trust Kyle. So so yeah, we got to see that happen, and we saw them tell Alyssa, which we already kind of saw. So yeah, the episode ended with Alyssa telling Kyle what everyone is saying, and it ends with him rushing to the diary room to just shut down and try and explain himself. And I I have watched every episode from BB17 onward of the main show. And I have never heard the announcer talk in a somber voice, like talking anything other than his typical previously on Big Brother. But like he actually spoke in a somber tone at the end of the Wednesday episode, and it blew my mind. He was talking about how like tune in for the house meeting where everything is talked about, and we got to see the house meeting, and it was pretty heavy. But like I do applaud the things that were said in the House meeting. Like I feel like just about everybody really really spoke eloquently. Except for Alyssa, who didn't really say anything. She just kind of sat there. And let me tell you something. I was prepared to just completely block Kyle on sight if he ever decided to return to Twitter. But with what Taylor said, uh, she is definitely she definitely kept me open to forgiveness. You know, it's like Taylor can forgive him, then I can forgive him. But like, I leave it with her and Monty and Terrance also. But yes, this was definitely one of the more mature house meetings. You know, typically everyone's yelling at each other. That didn't happen here. Kyle was apologetic about the whole thing, and you know, maybe I'm being overly optimistic. I don't know, but I I want to believe he was serious, and I believe I said this in my last stream. Just with the conversations he had with everybody, I don't know. I think there's a chance, but he needs to earn it. Okay, he needs to earn forgiveness. I'm not just gonna give it to him, and I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on him post show. Like I don't see myself following him, but I'll see how he is afterwards. And also, Michael and Brittany were confronted in the House meeting about uh, their their decision to release the information when they did, and they were right to be talked to about it. And even they admitted, like, you know, we could have done better in this. So we finally see the veto meeting halfway into the Thursday episode, pretty much, and Kyle goes up and he's just like, I get it, but I don't want to shut down this week. I want to talk to everyone. And just watching his conversation with Monty really had me choking up because Monty looked so hurt. I I truly think Monty would have been pound loyal. Monty got his way, the final four would have been all of the pound. Him, Kyle, Turner, Joseph. So yeah. So we get to the eviction. Despite some uncertainty regarding Terrance trying to keep Kyle over Taylor and Turner, but of course he doesn't have a vote, so that didn't matter. But after some uncertainty there, Kyle is evicted unanimously. Even Alyssa voted him out. I knew they'd broken up, but I still wasn't convinced that she would absolutely vote to evict him. But she did. Kyle leaves, and the applause is very tepid, would be a nice word for it. And, Julie did come out with some of the hard questions. I thought Alyssa would have voted to keep him at least. LOL. I thought it was going to be 3-2. I thought Alyssa and Terrance would vote to keep him, but no, it was unanimous. But yeah, Julie does press him on the issues a little bit, and I'll give him this much: he took better ownership of his words than Jack did, and than Aaron did. Jack and BB21, Aaron and BB15, who are also confronted for being very problematic and straight up racist in the house. But, you know, with Kyle, he already knew what he was walking out to. Aaron and Jack were kind of blindsided. And I mean, they deserve to be. But yeah, like I said, I want to see how he addresses this after the show, and I want to see uh, how it goes in the jury house, like what he says to them in there, if he says anything. I mean, even if he doesn't say anything, then the the next one of the next few people out of the house is going to. So it would definitely be in Kyle's best interest to get ahead of it. So we get to the HOH. Now, this is the kind of competition that I definitely think they meant to have on the episode. Like they meant to show it live, but with everything they had to cover, they could only start it in like the last minute. And it was a puzzle that they had to assemble. And like when I saw that competition, I'm like, Michael's gonna win this. Like I was thinking it would take him 5 minutes, if that. Like the only reason I thought it would take that long is because it seemed like they had to move each piece from one side of the yard to the other one at a time. That may have been said by by Julie directly. I don't remember exactly. So, you know, competition goes as the credits roll at the end, and we're just seeing everybody run each piece one at a time from one side to the other, and yeah, it didn't take long for the feast to come back with what do you know, Michael HOH again. And at this point, he now has the potential to win out, to win his way to the end, because he will now compete in every veto going forward. Like the only chance they had was if he didn't win this HOH and he didn't get picked for veto, they could have got him out this week. They may as well just name Michael HOH for the rest of the season. Well, you know, Julie did mention at the end of the episode we got a double eviction coming up, and that tends to move pretty quickly. And competitions move like they move differently, and sometimes someone can stumble into a win. And if Michael does not win the veto on double eviction night, if Brittany is not HOH, he's gone. Like maybe Taylor would not take him out, maybe, but I think she would be torn. So this was what my prediction was. I thought that he will nominate Terrance and Alyssa initially, just to play it safe, and then after the veto plays out, we can contemplate taking a shot at Monty or Turner. That was my prediction. So Terrance is talking to Michael. Actually, no, Terrance is not talking to Michael for this one. He's talking to Monty. Terrance swears that he will not vote for Michael because he withheld the information. Interesting. Monty doesn't quite go that far, but he does think it was wrong. Well, he doesn't go that far in this conversation. Um, Brittany and Taylor are talking, and they still think they should go to the final three with Michael and take him out then. And, I get why they definitely feel like he's their best shot to advance in the game. But the final HOH is like it's a quiz, and Michael has an insane amount of attention to detail. So I think that might be a little too risky. When they say that they hope that Kyle grows from this experience. And Bernie says that his excuse of being naive doesn't work since he's almost 30 years old, which is a fair point. So, as we're gearing up for nominations, it is becoming apparent that Michael's target is Terrance. And I don't know if that's the best move for his game, but Terrance is a jerk, and he's a very negative presence in that house. So I don't really care too much. Now, um, like I said, like I predicted, Terrance and Alyssa were nominated, but Terrance is talking to Michael, and he kind of says without saying that he's going to taint the jury against Michael. This is Terrance's pitch. Uh, Michael is not particularly concerned about this because Terrance is not very respected, like at all. And, of course, Michael is a lawyer. He's very convincing. So, you know, I feel like Michael thinks he can still persuade enough of the jury. You only need five. But honestly, I said this on Twitter before. If Jackson Mickey wasn't taken down by a better jury, then Michael should not be. I mean, Indy and Jasmine, they just kind of worked with Terrance through circumstance, but they didn't really like him. They certainly didn't respect him. So, yeah, I don't think it'll work. And I feel like Joseph is going to be more upset at Kyle for having the thought in the first place. I don't see Joseph voting in a bitter way. I feel like he's either going to vote for Taylor to win or he's going to vote for the best person to win. Does anybody in the house actually like Terrance at this point? I mean, kind of Alyssa and kind of Monty. That's about it. Turner, I don't think really cares about him because Turner was even saying as soon as after party started, like I gotta rely on these two, Terrance and Alyssa. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, that's Terrance. He's thinking he can actually persuade the jury to not vote for someone who, at this point in time, is tied for the most veto wins in a single season. But we have not yet gotten to the veto that just happened. But we will. Don't you worry. We will. Terrance and Monty are talking for a long time. And this conversation brought out week 1 and week 2 Monty again. Well, they start by talking about how Michael and to a lesser extent Brittany don't deserve to win for how they held in the information. And it's like, again, I get being mad at them, but it's starting to seem like they're madder. Terrance in particular is more mad at them than than Kyle. It's like, dude, come on. Then this is where Terrance really, really goes too far. He says that Taylor's friendships, because she's friends with Michael and Brittany, that's where this comes up. Her friendships aren't genuine because she met them in a pageant. And she doesn't know how to make friends. It's like those are manufactured. Yeah, a lot of people become best friends in school. That's kind of manufactured. It's like you have to go here. Like at least Taylor chose to join pageants, and it's just that's what he's saying. Like she doesn't know how to make friends just because her only friends are fake friends from pageants. And let me tell you something, Terrance. I have seen so many of her pageant friends defending her on Twitter. I have not seen a single one of your friends from Clown College defending you even one time this season. 2 months, not one person has defended you. A lot of the time, we didn't even know you were there. So yeah, this is just absolute nonsense coming from him. Like he goes on and on about how he's the oldest, so he's got the most wisdom. He knows the least about life of everybody in here. Okay, he is 47 years old, and he's got the worldliness of a 12-year-old. He's honestly embarrassing. Oh, screw Terrance. That was not cool of him to say. It was not. It absolutely was not. Uh, Brittany and Michael, they talk about how Alyssa kind of has been trying to pitch a Final Four with them, herself, and Taylor. And neither Michael nor Brittany seems entirely against this. And listening to Monty and Terrance talk and acknowledging Turner's threat level, it may not be a bad move. So, yeah, we'll see how this plays out. But I think it's uh, I think it's fairly safe to say that Alyssa's not going anywhere. Like Terrance would need to win the veto, and even then, I think in that case, Michael and Brittany. Oh, I keep saying Michael and Brittany. Michael would decide to take the shot at Turner or Monty. I feel like he might probably sooner go for Monty just because he did promise Turner safety for going for Kyle when like on a technical level it wasn't good for Turner's game to go for Kyle, but it also kind of was just because he didn't want to be lumped in with him and he shouldn't have been lumped in with him. Uh, Michael tells Taylor and Turner about Terrance threatening to taint the jury, and they just laugh it off. They're like, Terrance does not have that kind of sway, and he doesn't. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll try, but, you know, Terrance has been nominated the most times this season, like even more than Taylor, I think. I'll have to check the math on that. That it's close, but you know, Terrance just doesn't have the pull to not be nominated. So, how does he think he'll have the pull to change the minds of four people? Because he needs to change the minds of four people. Um, this was a rather annoying but also interesting conversation. Well, uh, I'll let you guess which part of it was annoying and which part was interesting. It was between Terrance and Taylor. Terrance tells her that he wants a house meeting to confront Michael and Brittany about their use of the information. And it's like it's not like we didn't address this in the last one. It was just like, yeah, it wasn't talked about much, but that was because what Kyle did was a lot worse and is the thing that put them in that position. I like sit back. Is the lighting better? I sit forward. Is it better? I don't know. This is just. I don't like this lamp at all. It's too bright and it's off to the side. It just doesn't work. Anyway, um, where was I? Right. He wants a house meeting, front Michael and Brittany, because of what they because of their use of the information. And like I said, I feel like he's just kind of obsessing over this to not acknowledge the fact that he got outplayed. And honestly, Terrance, it wasn't that hard to outplay you. The only person who hasn't outplayed you is Alyssa, and that's just because she hasn't won anything. And he tells Taylor that he finds Michael and Brittany's relationship with her disgusting because he thinks they're manipulative to her. And I'm like, oh, okay. Suddenly you care about her? Everything you've said this season about her behind her back? It's just, anything Terrance says, I can't take seriously because I remember everything else he said. And he goes on to tell her that they don't deserve to win for this. And Taylor says, and I actually copy and pasted this quote from BB Updates. There will be a time where I can say everything, but for all that I've had to endure since day one, I see clearly and I have for a while. The moment you let people know you see clearly, it's the moment you go out the door. And I think it's possible she means Michael to an extent, but pretty sure she's directing this right to Terrance, just saying it to his face, because she has not liked him for a long time. She tried to, but she realized he doesn't like her, so yeah, she's just kind of venting. And I love the layers with which Taylor talks. IDK. What makes Terrance a bad guy, though? Uh, Probably the fact that he's super sexist. He just says so many horrible things about women, and he has for a while. Like even I, I haven't actually seen the clip, but I'm aware of the clip where he's the crockpot, um, synonym for a cat, and also a woman's business. So yeah, I don't like Terrance. I think he's very disrespectful. His comment about Taylor being on a stroll, I did not like at all. He's called her the B word a lot. Just, those kind of things, in my opinion, make Terrance a not great guy, but that's just my humble opinion, enraged grandpa. Some some women like that, well, Taylor doesn't, and she doesn't like him. So that's on her. Okay? But yeah, I think Taylor is just saying that quote that I read. She's directing it mostly at Terrance because I know if Taylor got another HOH, she wouldn't miss this time. She wanted him out the first time, and oh boy, should she have been allowed to take him out. It would have made a lot of subsequent things so much better. Um, Michael is talking later. Like I said this earlier. Michael says that Terrance is just mad he got outplayed, and he is. Like it's just, it seems like a lot of sour grapes on Terrance's part because he said as much. He's going to be a bitter juror, and he's a bitter house guest. He's bitter before he's even entered the jury. So yeah. So Monty's talking to Michael, and he says that it was, and I quote, egregious of Terrance to try and keep Kyle over Taylor. And I do think he partially feels this way, but he was agreeing pretty hard with him in some of their past conversations. Their conversation that went on for like 6 hours. At least that's how it felt. How do you feel about Joseph? I liked him. He got he got screwed, and I miss him. That all of Direfest, I did not like the way that went down. But yeah, I feel like Monty probably doesn't have any intentions of bringing Terrance to the end. In fact, I think he'll probably even vote him out on Thursday if he's still on the block. But I'm not forgetting the level of engagement Monty had in his conversation with Terrance. So feeds go down for the veto. The whispers start to come out that it's BB Comics. And that is a competition that typically takes hours. Last season, it took 6 hours. And it was BB Comics, and it did take about 6 hours. At least that's how long the feeds were down. And what do you know? Michael won again. Michael won his sixth veto. He is the first house guest to win six vetoes in a single season ever. And more than that, of the main competitions, the staple competitions, HOH and veto, Michael has won 9 of those. And he is now tied with Janelle for the most competition wins in a single season for one person. Oh, for crying out loud, he really is going to win out from here, isn't he? LOL. There's a very good chance of it. Well, yeah, dude's from Minnesota. Yes, he is, just like Janelle. I don't know what it is about the state of Minnesota, but it's, it's just a breeding ground for good Big Brother players. But yes, Michael holds the record for the most veto wins in a single season. And so he's got 6 vetoes, 3 HOHs. And we're only at the final 7. But here's the thing. If Monty, Turner, or somehow Alyssa win the next HOH, and Michael does not win the veto in the double eviction, he is gone. Especially if he's sitting next to Brittany or Taylor, which I think would happen. I feel like Monty, Turner, Alyssa, they would put Michael and Brittany up outright. And then if one of them were to win the veto, then Taylor would probably be the replacement. I mean, it's like we're here. I kind of want Michael to do it. I want him. I really want him to win out from here. I want to see it happen. It's like I totally understand why everyone's going for him, and I totally understand why everyone online is kind of like, oh, we got to get this guy out. Even I kind of feel it. Like if I was in that house, I'd be like, I'm getting Michael out the first chance I get. But it's just we're here. He's one win away from doing it. Let's just do it. Let's see someone win 10 main competitions in a season. There's Comp Beast in BB, and then there's Michael. LOL. Yeah, he's not a Comp Beast. He's a Comp Behemoth. And like, I just want to put this out there. Janelle set this record of 9 wins in a single season in 2006. Okay, Michael was like 12, 13 years old at the time. I think, yeah, 13. I believe. I believe he was born in '93. So yeah, like by the time Janelle got to 9, he would have been 13 years old, I think, because his birthday is in the beginning of August. It would be funny if Terrance won. Uh, do you mean if Terrance won the whole game? Or do you mean if he had won this veto? Because I don't want Terrance to win the game, and I don't think there's any chance he will. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Terrance wins, I'm not coming back for BB25. Neither am I. Just, no. Like, it's bad enough that the current title holder of oldest winner, Evil Dick, it's bad enough that he's already a huge piece of crap. We don't need the age record to be topped with Terrance's joke record. IDK, Big Brother wouldn't miss 2 people. It's just a show. Well, you know what, dude? Honestly, you're kind of bringing down the vibe here. Like, yeah, let me tell you something. I I don't know. Forget it. But look, there's no way Terrence is gonna win. Like, the only one that would have even he would even have a chance of beating at the end would be Alyssa. And even then, not a guarantee. It's a shame because I did like Terrence a bit at the start too. Yeah, I mean, I'm always down to root for the old guy. Oh, he's a div for no doubt, but just saying it would be funny. It wouldn't sit right with me. But again, it's not going to happen. Like he's now that Michael has won the veto, I don't see him using it. I think he's going to keep noms the same, and I think Terrence is going to be voted out probably unanimously. Taylor is absolutely voting him out. Brittany's absolutely voting him out. Turner is much closer with Alyssa than Terrence, so he's definitely voting her out. Monty is the only one that might make it not unanimous. So, I don't even know what I just did. Pressed a button wrong. Anyway, sorry. The last thing I want to talk about was just like I hinted at this already, but just Monty and Terrance were having a really gross, really sexist conversation. Uh, it was yeah, it was on Friday, and they're just giving all their opinions on women. And I'm sorry, but in my experience, like 99% of the time, when you hear two men talking about women, it's not an enjoyable conversation. They're just talking about their own insecurities and they're projecting it. And just like I really blame Terrance for this most of all, just because, you know, Terrance in general just kind of brings the worst out of whoever he's talking to. But Monty was just he was starting to look like how he was at the start. My vote was with Matthew from the start, though. Dude's got some sweet hair. Really? Not even calling him Turner? Okay. But anyway, it's just listen to this conversation, and it went on for so long. Just hearing their thoughts about women and then lumping Taylor in, and I'm just like, just shut up, guys. Honestly, shut up. I I'm not an expert on women. I will freely admit that. And it's because of that I would never talk in this way, especially about the kindest person in the house. It's just like we're back to the beginning. We're trying to find all these reasons to bash Taylor. And I'm like, why have we decided to hop back on this train? I don't understand it. It drives me nuts. And it just doesn't sit right with me. All right. So that's all my notes in my phone. I am going to do my usual thing of checking for updates that have happened while I've been talking. So we're just gonna we're just gonna get to that real quick. Mm, I was just sent a really nice message. What about Santos? Or did I miss that? Uh, that's Indy's last name. You, dude, why? Why are you calling Turner by his first name and Indy by her last name? Like, what? What's? I don't get that. Bad with names. I mean, you remembered her last name. It took me a second to even remember, just because in general I barely remember Indy. She just barely registered with me this season. All right, let's check BB updates. That always, well, not always. I feel like more often than not when I check BB updates, they haven't updated since I started the stream. But I feel like with Michael having just won the veto, I feel like we might have some stuff. We don't. Okay. I'll check Hamster Watch. Oh, well, this is interesting. They only did 15 BB comics instead of 16. They did not do one for Paloma. Eesh, even production is trying to forget she was ever here. Oh, it's what she deserves. Like, wait, who's Paloma? She was the first one to leave. She was in the house for like 6 days. She got in, was super obsessed with bashing Taylor, and was just she just made everyone else hate Taylor. She was just on a hate campaign, and she just worked so hard to make everyone hate Taylor that she forgot to sleep, and she had a mental breakdown, and she had to leave the game. And no one was sad to see her go. I must have joined in late then. Yeah, I think you did. So yeah, that's about all I got. Michael is officially tied for the most wins in the Big Brother house and has single-handedly has the record for most veto wins in a single season. Uh, yeah, I mean, despite what Terrance is going to try to do, if Michael is in the final two, I think he beats anybody. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I'm gonna call it a night because it is 1:13 in the morning here, and I'm tired. So yes, thank you, Scarlet Rain 88, for joining me, and Enraged Grandpa. Thanks for being having an interesting perspective on this whole thing. And yeah, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it here. I don't know when my next stream will be. I'm probably Tuesday or maybe Monday night. I don't know. After the veto meeting, we'll see. Depends on how much happens in the next few days. We're getting towards the end game, so typically at this point, it slows down. But we'll see. But thank you for the follow and Rage Grandpa. I appreciate it. So yeah, if you like Uncharted 4 or Red Dead Redemption 2, well guess what? I'm also streaming those right now. I've played them both before, but I love them both, and I'm playing them again because I want to. But yes, that's it for this stream. I'll see you guys next time. Glad you love Red Dead Redemption. All right. Peace out.